Hey guys, so it's been a while. I was sick for a week, and my voice was gone, basically, so I wasn't able to post anything. But here is my very late Batman v Superman spoiler review. And this isn't really a technical review. It's more of me explaining why this movie isn't great. Because I've been hearing a lot of things, not from you guys are great. Best followers ever. But I've been hearing a lot from general audiences sort of bashing critics in general for not liking this movie. And to sort of avoid being called Marvel fanboy or DC hater or a critic that only likes light bubbly fun films. I want to explain why this movie isn't good so you understand my point of view so you don't, hate critics. Don't hate critics. Don't. So here are the sort of main things I didn't love. One being, this one has a lot of controversy around it. Why Batman decides not to kill Superman. Now, this moment could be very emotional and powerful if done right. Batman's like about to stab Superman in the face. Superman's like, I gotta save Martha. Batman's like, oh, Martha's my mom's name. Oh, we're besties. Let's go save people. Yeah. And there's a lot of people on either side. Some love it and say it's very emotional, and some hate it and say it's dumb. And I'm on the dumb side. And people compare it to Captain America's, not Civil War, Winter Soldier, when Bucky's just beating in Cap's face. Cap's like, I'm with you to the end, and everyone cried. Everyone thought that was a really sad, emotional moment, but they didn't think the Martha moment was in Batman v Superman. Here's why. Because they had two movies. They had two movies to develop Cap, and half a movie to develop, well, 1.5 movies to develop Bucky and Winter Soldier. So when their sort of relationship climaxed at that scene where Bucky's just beating on Cap's face, you feel the emotional impact because you understand both sides of these people. With Batman and Superman, you don't understand Batman because we haven't had a Batman movie. We had half a Batman movie in Batman v Superman, and that's it. DC would have gone Man of Steel, Batman, Man of Steel 2, Batman v Superman, then they would have a much longer time to develop, the reasons why they fought and the reason why Martha means so much to Batman. Now, another thing, the flashbacks. I'm okay with like 1 or 2, but flashbacks within dream sequences, I'm like, what? No, stop. Sometimes the flashbacks work. Like the flashback onto Metropolis with Superman's destroying everything, that works. The flashback to Batman's parents getting killed, that kind of worked. Well shot, I'll give it that. But then the dream sequences, or the visions, whatever you want to call it, that's where they lose me. Specifically, Man-Bat. We just cut from something, I don't know what. Wait, let me check. They cut from Lex Luthor talking about how devils come from the sky and looking at a painting, which is actually a really good scene. They cut from that to Batman in a field, and then Man-Bat jumps out of a coffin and Batman wakes up, and they cut from that to something else. And I'm like, how does that affect anything in the movie? How does that fit in any way? Why is that in the movie? You had a year to edit this movie down, and you pull out scenes developing Superman and not Man-Bat in a coffin. Why? The other one is the Batman future sequence, which I would have to say looks really cool, and I'd like to see a movie about that. But it doesn't belong in this movie. And it comes out of nowhere. His Batman's just sort of typing, it's like 1%. It's like, oh man, I should have paid for faster internet. Except that's probably what he was thinking. And then boom! Straight to Batman stepping out into, desert Metropolis. What? And everything that happens in that sequence has no effect on anything in the movie, connects to nothing in the movie, and then he just sort of wakes up and looks at the Flash, and Flash is like, am I too soon? Which was kind of a cool cameo. If they would have shortened that scene, and if you would have understood what Flash was saying, then that would have been a really cool cameo. And if that was his only cameo. Let's get to the cameos. It's about the laziest way you can shoehorn these people in this movie. It's through those cameos. If the only cameo was Flash through the time rift, I would have been okay with that. I would have been like, yeah, that's good. And then videos. I said I didn't totally hate it, and I didn't. The first time I watched the movie, the second time I'm like, okay, that dumb. Like I said, it's the laziest way to shoehorn these people in is just have Wonder Woman open an email. You could do so many other things with this. And I'm just disappointed. Now I'm going to read some things. Because one of my main things that I didn't like about the movie was that it would cut from one scene to a different scene, and they're not connected at all. They're just random scenes that don't make any sense together. And I wrote them all down. Yes, I watched it again so I could write down every single time they do this, so you people can understand how poorly constructed this movie is. Okay, Kryptonite in India to Lois in Africa. Africa to just a courtroom that we had heard nothing about. Bathroom sex to bats in a sewer. By the way, this is totally... I don't even remember half of these. Jolly Rancher feeding to boxing match to Clark arguing with Perry. All in sequence, all completely unrelated to each other. Leg-o-less, that's what I call that guy that lost his leg. It's funny. That guy getting his new chair from Lex to boom, Wonder Woman in a museum. And then Batman finds her. We don't know how, because he's Batman. By the way, he didn't say I'm Batman once. Come on. Yeah, that goes on and on for quite some time. I'm not going to list them all. But, sheesh, movie. Come on, have some cohesiveness. I also wrote down all the plots going on at the same time as Batman v Superman, which is what the movie should be about. Here's all the other plots. Lois investigating a bullet that never really ends. It just sort of investigate, boom, over. What? Clark and the uneasiness of branding people. That's sort of a thing that's shown in two scenes. He sees a newsreel. He sees a picture of a guy being branded. He's like, I'm going to stop Batman. Even though I kill people, I'm going to stop him because he brands people. Because that's worse. Leg-o-less. I'm sorry, that's just so clever to me. And his vendetta against Superman. Another really short storyline that should have been more interesting than it was. Bruce and his search for the white Portuguese, which could have been fixed by him Googling white Portuguese. And he probably would have gotten the ship. Come on, Bruce. Best detective in the world? I don't think so. Lex and his project with Zod, which is... How does that make sense? He just walks in, he's like, cut, Zod, give me Doomsday. And what was his plan to stop Doomsday? Because think about it. He sent Batman to kill Superman. He knew Batman had kryptonite. He knew Batman could kill Superman. That was his plan. While that was happening, he was creating Doomsday. You couldn't stop the Genesis Project midway through. That was going to finish. So what if Batman actually does just stab Superman in the face? And then Doomsday comes out. Doomsday would have killed Lex. What? Was his plan for Superman to live all along? What? Another storyline. I'm not done. There's another plot to this movie. The courtroom against Superman. That's a movie in itself. You could have a movie, court case, of do we need Superman? That's really interesting concept that is thrown away in two scenes. One more. Diana looking for Luthor's files because he has a picture of her. Okay. Why? I mean, that's to show more Diana, but like, how does that connect to everything else? When you're making a movie called Batman v Superman, and you have so many plots that you have to figure out which ones to cut out. You have to figure out which ones best serve the main plot, which is Batman v Superman. And instead of cutting out the plots that don't help that overarching story that's the main focus of your film, he cut out things that actually would have helped, that dynamic, and left in random stuff that we didn't need. Then there's a lot of dumb stuff that doesn't actually make any sense. They just sort of happen. Like Lois pulls out a book that she had. She pulls out a bullet that's somehow a special bullet that was used in Africa. And she uses that to prove Superman didn't kill those people in Africa. Superman doesn't kill with bullets. And if they was trying to prove that he did, why would they use special military bullets? And 3, when did she get shot? Like, seriously, she never got shot. How? And the way that she finds the bullet, she just pulls out a book. Pulls it out of the book and says, I'm going to investigate this, and then puts it away. What? Why? Another thing is Lex needs certain things to complete his plan to make Doomsday. So he meets up with the senator and this other guy. The senator's like, you don't get your kryptonite. He leaves. He turns to the other guy and says, oh, here's a bunch of stuff I want. The guy's like, okay. Why does the guy give it to him? Like, did Luthor do something for him? They never said. Like, Luthor's just like, I need a bunch of stuff. And he's like, okay, I'll give it to you anyway, even though I have no motivation to. Nobody has motivation in this movie. Other than Batman. They didn't give any time to give anyone any motivation to do anything. One more thing, and I'll wrap this probably really long video up. Superman, after the courtroom explodes, he flies up north, talks to his dad, and flies back. Sure, that was an interesting scene in the story, though kind of ridiculous. Actually did sort of help, but how did that make the final cut? When you got a 3-hour movie to cut down, I'm saying this a lot, but it's true. When you got a 3-hour movie to cut down, and you cut out important things, and then you watch the movie, and you just see all the other things that they probably should have cut out, instead of the important things, it just makes you mad as a viewer. A lot of people don't pick up on that, and that's why a lot of people like it. I'm not saying if you like it, you're stupid. I'm saying if you like it for different reasons. When critics go for a movie, they want to see characters motivated well. They want to see a movie constructed, scenes connecting, and one cohesive story. They want to see well fleshed out characters, and it's just not in this movie. Now, if as a fan you go for fan service and action and Batman, because Batman is awesome in this movie, you're gonna have a great time. And then a lot of people did. That's all a lot of people wanted from this movie, and they got that and they enjoyed it. But critics look for other things too. And if you get mad at other critics for not liking this movie because of those things, then you suck. So I couldn't break that to you any better way. That's all I could think of. And just don't do that. Don't hate on critics because they don't like this movie. Don't call critics wrong because they don't like all the same movies you do, because that's basically saying you're always right, which is just as bad. So don't do that. Be nice to critics and each other, as if it was the last day on Earth. That was a Walking Dead reference. By the way, season finale. Crazy. I'll talk about it in my weekly rant if I make one. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Like, comment what you thought about the movie. Share, because I want more subscribers so more people can hear about my thoughts. I want the world to hear my thoughts. That was weird. Have a nice day, you lovely people.